Hola, chicos and chicas. It is I, Agent of Doubt, here to talk about some linguistics tricks. Now, what I've observed in my little forays into what's going on in the news and stuff when I, you know, pick my head up out of the sand from working so much, what I've observed is a little bit of hypocrisy. Before I put my head in the sand and just missed a whole bunch of news stories like I don't even know what the fuck happened in Syria, don't want to know. I think we've moved on from that, but you know, or the end of Breaking Bad. I never watched the show anyway. So before that, there were these Republicans who kept on using the term republic, and this was before all of this healthcare.gov stuff. They kept on making a point to use the word republic. I remember Michelle Bachmann and Sarah Palin especially, saying this is a republic, as if, everybody calling it a democracy was, so fallaciously wrong. Places, news outlets like Democracy Now! Are actually promoting something that is not the American way because we don't have a democracy. We have a republic, right? They were making this point and just hammering it home like, no, this is not a direct democracy. And during the Occupy movement, we saw, like, firsthand, some of us who actually participated, what happens when you have direct democracy in, like, a little general assembly and people are, like, voting by basic majorities to begin with. Some of those little satellite Occupy movements in different cities actually had to come up with unique, different forms of government that suited their size that were, approaching what a republic is. They would designate a media liaison and designate, different, like a treasurer and stuff, rather than have everybody doing everything and having a say in everything. They would designate, somebody to run this event and somebody to run, they would make little temporary leaders for a little while. But it was kind of an experiment in what if we actually attempted to use more democracy, direct democracy. And some of it was insightful and some of it was a complete failure. Beyond that, the word democracy seems to have resonated within the core of liberals in our country, and the word republic seems to have resonated in the core of conservatives. Thus, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, right? So, here's my big question. If you've been watching any of the news sources that I have, of, in these past few weeks, a bunch of Republicans speaking out against Obamacare, why is it that the Republicans are repeatedly using the argument that these Democrats in Congress, in the Senate and the House, they are not listening to the will of the people, because on this issue they claim that the people don't like Obamacare and that there's some sort of polling being done whereby a majority of people in America don't want the changes that are coming. Well, you see, when you have a republic, as they had been chiming and chanting and just verbal vomiting for months and years, when you have a republic, sometimes you elect people who you think are smarter than you, right? Smarter than everyone else, and you put them in a position to make decisions for everyone else. Now, they do take public opinion into account because they want to get reelected, and they're there to do what's best for those people. But when you have a republic, sometimes they hold their ground against things like mob rule, mass insurgencies of opinion. Many times these people in public office can see that there is maybe a big disinformation campaign happening about a certain program that they're promoting, and they think that, if all of these people just were educated on what the program actually is, they would be for it, and so they remained for it, although many of their constituents are very vocally against it. So, here's the problem. The beyond healthcare.gov, Obamacare, beyond that, why is it that the same people who were screaming that this is not a direct democracy, this is a republic, and they were hammering that point home as if everyone who was, all for democracy were un-American, why is it that those people now get to say, hey, the people have spoken and they don't like Obamacare? Why aren't these Senate and House Democrats listening to the people? Because there's been this mood shift, and now like a slight majority of people are having trouble accepting this government program. Why is it that they get to make that argument? To me, it seems a bit hypocritical. Just a little word game irritation